In this video, we are gonna compare the quality of pictures and video from these two lenses. The affordable Sony 50mm f1.8 FE and more expensive 55 f1.8 Zeiss lens. This is not going to be in-depth review of both of these lenses, but straight side-by-side comparison of images and photos and the video. I have already reviewed the 50mm f1.8 lens before, and the link is just here. But apart from the cheaper plasticky build and a slow autofocus, especially doing the video, how does the image actually compare side by side to nearly 4 times more expensive Zeiss lens? I'm going to only look at the final edited results of the pictures and the video from both of them, side by side. Is the Zeiss lens actually 4 times better? Oh, let's find out. Can you tell which one of these two photos has been taken with the 50mm affordable, cheaper 50mm, and which one was taken with the 55 f1.8 Zeiss lens? Did you guess? I guess not, because you can't tell the difference. Well, I can't tell the difference. The pictures are equally sharp, equally same, which is a actually big surprise. I have said that before in my previous video about this lens, that the pictures compare to the 55mm, but now I'm actually taking photos with exactly the same camera, with exactly the same settings, in the same lighting. These pictures are identical. Also, shooting this in this kind of a studio environment, I didn't really see much difference in autofocusing or speed of autofocusing on the cheaper lens versus the Zeiss. To me, they, apart from the way, they performed pretty much the same. The 50mm f1.8 here in UK cost at the moment £179, where the Zeiss cost £699. There is a huge difference in price for two lenses which produce very, very similar results. The 50mm does feel very cheap. Actually, in hand, it's just mostly plastic, cheap, light plastic, where the Zeiss lens has got some weight to it. It feels like it's been built to last. It's got this nice, substantial weight to it. The photos straight from the camera seem to be a little bit less contrasty, and they're lacking a little bit of vibrance from the 50mm. But I personally shoot everything raw, so it's not a problem to adjust it. But editing the photos from both of these lenses in Lightroom side by side, I actually been editing the 50mm photos significantly more than those from the 55mm, just because they were not as punchy as these. But if you weren't comparing the images from both lenses side by side, this 50mm is as good as any 50mm I have actually used before. The only way to actually see the difference, which pictures are from which lens, is the shape of the bokeh. That's because the cheaper 50mm lens got only 7 aperture blades, when the Zeiss lens got 9. What it does when you focus on your main subject and you blur the background with the aperture wide open, any lights in the background showing as a blurred bokeh will be different shape. The 50mm, the 7 blades, they're a bit squashed, and they also, strangely, they show the dirt on my sensor, I presume, or lens. But images from the Zeiss lens got a very nice and round bokeh, which shows like very faint lines inside of it, and no actually dirty dots from the dirt on the sensor on the same camera showing at all from that lens, from the Zeiss lens. So how do these lenses compare doing video filming? Obviously, I have talked about this before, this lens is not good autofocusing in video. It does focus, but it's not reliable. Sometimes it just hunts forever, can't find, when it actually latches on something to focus on, it's not very fast. It takes forever to get there. Also, it makes a lot of noise. If you're recording audio with the mic on the camera, you will pick the focusing noise from the lens. where the Zeiss lens is completely silent. It's super quick focusing and super accurate. So you can't really compare in that way as a functionality of the lenses. They different. There's a difference between these two. But for me personally, I film most of the time, 90% of the time I film with manual focus. And if you put both of these lenses into manual focus, the footage looks absolutely identical. Surprisingly, looks identical. I have filmed this B-roll in S-Log 3 and being graded in Premiere side by side, and literally the shots are identical. There's no difference in quality between these two. The only difference is the poor autofocus on this lens. So it's a fact that images and video from both of these lenses look almost identical. So the question is, why would you pay almost 4 times more for the Zeiss lens when you could just get this and get the same results? Well, you wouldn't use this lens for events like weddings or sports or anything with a moving really object, because although it works great for photography in the controlled situation like studio or product photography or food photography, when you got time to take multiple pictures and take time to do it, they both work identical. But when you try to focusing on moving, on people walking, people moving, and more probably challenging lighting situations, this is gonna let you down, probably will let you down, when this lens is significantly more reliable in autofocusing. So it'd be great for wedding photographers or event photographers, because it is actually doing the job of the lens very, very well. So I definitely would recommend the Zeiss lens for professional photographers, but anyone who cannot stretch the budget to nearly 4 times price of this one, this lens actually is surprisingly good, sharp. Only you could decide which one of these two lenses is right for you. But remember that they both deliver identical, well, almost identical results. Think about that. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, I'm really sorry that you had to endure it for so long. Hit that subscribe button and the bell button next to it to get notifications of my future videos. And that's it from me. See you next time.